Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Campus Law Center, University of Delhi, I extend a warm welcome to our Chief Guest, Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Our guest of honor, Mr. Surya Prakash V. Raju, Additional Solicitor General, Supreme Court of India. Dignitaries on and off the dais, participants, colleagues, and students. I request our guests to kindly occupy their position on the dais. I request our esteemed dignitaries to kindly proceed with the lighting of the ceremonial lamp. A very warm welcome once again to the inaugural ceremony of the 20th KK Luthra Moot 2024. Before we commence with the function, I would request Dr. Meera Khazanji to kindly felicitate our chief guest, Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli. I now request Senior Advocate Ms. Geeta Luthra to kindly felicitate our guest of honor, Mr. Surya Prakash V. Raju. I now request Professor Alka Chawla, Professor in Charge, Campus Law Center, University of Delhi, to give the welcome address and the inaugural remarks.
Good evening, everyone. A very, very warm welcome and happy mooting. This is 20th KK Luthra Moot Court competition. I think before I say anything, a big applaud for that. 20 years has been a long time. Professor Rajiv Khanna started it. He was young, I was younger. Both of us are old now. We are honored to welcome our chief guest, Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli. She is one amongst only a dozen female judges appointed to Supreme Court of India since its inception. So that itself shows how inspiring, powerful, strong, courageous, bold, and an empowered woman she is. And I think the dais today looks like an empowered woman dais. All because of her. She's a very, very dear friend. I've known her since my school days and I've seen her journey throughout. Champion of women rights, first woman Chief Justice of Telangana High Court. She started her office from boot of a car to reach the highest court of justice. That calls for, again, a big applaud for her. Her areas of interests are many. I cannot name all. But yes, environmental jurisprudence, and Mrs. Maneka Gandhi is here with us, whom also I've been seeing, I think, every year for the last, I don't know how many years. She's one person who's always here to witness the moot court. And others are arbitration, mediation, and so on and so forth, so I will not name all. A very, very warm welcome to you, ma'am. I take this opportunity to welcome Mr. SV Raju, Additional Solicitor General, Supreme Court of India. We all know he is a very well-known, distinguished senior advocate who has argued in very high-stake matters in Supreme Court. His intellectual contribution to the development of law needs no introduction at all. And I think all the students sitting here and the faculty and everyone would be really happy to listen to him and the words of wisdom that he gives. A big applaud for him, please. Before I welcome anybody else, so please, एक बार तो खड़ा होना पड़ेगा. Professor Rajiv Khanna and Professor T.D. Sethi. They have been my gurus. They have been Justice Hima Kohli's gurus and Siddharth's. Sir, you have taught us law. all the concepts, both of you, that is why we are here. Thank you so much. We feel honored whenever you come here. I welcome the entire family, friends and relatives of dear Ketaki and Siddharth Luthra, senior advocate. We know that he is a distinguished alumni of Campus Law Center. In fact, both of them are distinguished alumni. So big hand for the couple. Ketaki is always hiding at the back. She will have to wave who she is. There, yes, she's waving. A big applaud for them, yes. Now, the Moot Court, as we all know, is held in the memory of their father, Mr. K.K. Luthra. And Siddharth, I do not know how to describe him. The only thing I can say is he personifies humility, love, affection, loyalty, a family man, and an abundance of knowledge of law. So that is how I always see Siddharth, and so much to learn from you always. See, he'll never come on the dais. You'll always find his sisters. Both Dr. Meera and Dr. Geeta, they are here. They have their own identity, no doubt. Dr. Meera is a very, very well-known pediatric surgeon, and Dr. Geeta, of course, is a senior advocate, as you all know. But he would always sit there, and Ketaki always at the back. Sisters in front. A big applaud for this, because you all need to learn how to keep the family together. I've been seeing some Chacha ji, naam nahi mujhe pata, koi taya, koi uncle, koi mama, sir khade ho jao, jitne yahan par hai. They will all vouch. They will all vouch how Siddharth has been keeping the family together. And of course, we miss Auntie today. I think for the last 2 years, we've not been seeing her. 4 years. Oh God, time really flies. And because we always used to see her sitting in front, yes, I miss her. And so I think we all miss her. I welcome the entire body of my erudite teachers. They're all sitting in front. We have the most efficient administrative staff as usual behind the curtains. Our students' union is here. They're leading all the youngsters. I think I can see some of them here. Our teacher convener, Dr. Suman Yadav, and with her team, Dr. Rahul, Dr. Rubina, Dr. Mehpara, Ms. Apanjor, Dr. Anumeha, all of them are here. And I welcome you all. And now I welcome the entire 72 teams. That comes to around 220 students from the country and abroad. Just, yes, one word for you people. You may be unhappy with the infrastructure, but I can assure you that the smiles, the affection, the love, and the care you will get from all the Campus Law Center students and faculty, they will all make you feel at home. And I'm sure you will go back with a smile on your face and would also be saying, "Jaane ka man nahi kar raha." CLC is so good. So big applaud for CLC. I welcome all the volunteers here, the Moot Court Society Executive Body. I cannot take names of all the students, but yes, Anuj and Mohit and the team, Anuj and Mohit would not be seen here, and the entire team, if you can wave towards all the guests and tell them that you are the backbone of this Moot Court. Kahan hai? Hai hi nahi. I think they're all working. They're all working somewhere, taking the tensions of the Moot Court. So with this, I think I would finish and say that I welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen, all my blessings, and I wish that I know all cannot win. But what I can definitely say is that you will go back home with a lot of exposure from here. You will make friends, you will interact with people, you will know how a government college works with meager funds, and always getting funds from, we have done all this auditorium and everything, all because of there wo baitha Siddharth. Ye paise deta hai humko aur Moot Court chalta hai. It is not that university is not rich. We are rich in knowledge, we are rich in everything. But yes, when it comes to a lot of spending of money and finances, we have our alumni and we don't have to look anywhere else. So we have Geeta here, we have Siddharth here, we have Ketaki there, all the alumni contributing to the development of the center. Thank you so much. All my blessings to all of you. And I welcome all of you again.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a warm welcome address. Now I request Dr. Suman Yadav, Assistant Professor, Campus Law Center, and the convener of the Moot Court Society to present the annual report.
Thank you, Anumeha. Warm greetings to our chief guest for the evening, Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Guest of Honor, Mr. Surya Prakash V. Raju, Additional Solicitor General, Supreme Court of India, respected Professor in Charge, Campus Law Center, Professor Dr. Alka Chawla, Senior Advocate Geeta Luthra, Dr. Meera Luthra, Mr. Siddharth Luthra, former ASG and Senior Advocate, distinguished guests, respected delegates, esteemed faculty members, and dear participants. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce this illustrious gathering to the 20th KK Luthra Moot Court competition, the flagship event of Campus Law Center that has honored the memory of Shri KK Luthra, Senior Advocate, a renowned lawyer and advocate for justice. It's my privilege and honor to inform you all that today we complete 2 decades of this competition. This exalted event is organized every year with an endeavor to provide a platform for law graduates to enhance their advocacy skills through factual analysis and calibrated arguments in the presence of honorable sitting High Court judges and other legal luminaries of the country. It is a matter of pride for me to say that this competition has set a benchmark for the Moot Court competitions in India. Sharing the success story of 19th KK Luthra Moot Court competition 2023, we hosted 60 teams from 10 countries. The entire event spanned for 7 days with 5 layers of rigorous adjudication, including the prelims, the octas, the quarters, the semis, and the finals. The final round was judged by Honorable Judges of Delhi High Court, Honorable Mr. Justice Anish Dayal, Honorable Mr. Justice Chandradhari Singh, Honorable Ms. Justice Swarn Kanta Sharma. The team from Sastra School of Law, Tamil Nadu, was adjudged as the winners of the competition, while the team from Army Institute of Law, Mohali, was adjudged as runner-up. The best speaker was awarded to Ridham Shirimal, representing Symbiosis Law School, Noida, and the second best speaker was Ketan Priyadarshi, representing Maharashtra National Law University. The best memorial was awarded to Himachal Pradesh National Law University, Shimla, and the second best memorial was awarded to Tamil Nadu National Law University, Tamil Nadu. I also take this opportunity to acknowledge the contribution of my Moot Court Society, along with its students and the teacher members, in the successful organization of this mega event, wherein every member of the society puts in its heart and soul for the success of the event. The Moot Court Society of Campus Law Center is one such society that believes in inculcating the art of articulation, fluency, and skill of in-depth research in the students, which not only give them the required confidence, but also the exposure in the art of persuasion and putting their case intelligently. I also take pride in informing this august gathering that the students of Campus Law Center have won various laurels through their association with Moot Court Society. I would be failing if I do not acknowledge the unending support of my professor in charge, Professor Dr. Alka Chawla, who herself is a source of great inspiration to the entire campus law center. Recently, ma'am has been recognized as most influential woman in law by BW Law.
We are 4 of us here. Pinky is here, Geeta is here.
So I congratulate each one of you. Addition to this, being in top 100 powerful women in law in the list released by World IP Forum in 2017 and again in 2021. She has also been awarded with Women of the Decade Award by Women Economics Forum in 2022. She has been the recipient of various awards, author of books on copyright law, and has been a resource person to many national and international universities of eminent prestige. Madam has been so generous in extending her support not only in day-to-day activities of Moot Court Society, but also in organizing this mega event, which every student of Campus Law Center look forward to. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your unwavering support. Moreover, I'm delighted to congratulate all the participants. Hope that the exposure they would be gaining through this competition would make them scale great heights of success. With this, I would like to conclude by saying happy mooting and wishing all the participants the very best, and I really hope that this competition will provide you with an enriching and fulfilling experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Suman, for highlighting the successes and achievement of the Moot Court Society. I now request Mr. SV Raju, Additional Solicitor General, Supreme Court of India, to kindly address the gathering.
Good evening, everyone. Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli, Judge, Supreme Court of India, and Chief Guest of today's function. Professor Dr. Alka Chawla, Professor in Charge, Campus Law Center, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. Dr. Geeta Luthra, Dr. Meera Luthra, Dr. Suman Yadav, Siddharth Luthra, his wife, the pretty Ketki Luthra, family members of the Luthra family, faculty members, distinguished guests, judges and participants in the KK Birla 20th Memorial Moot Court, lawyers, students, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor to be present before this august gathering. And the honor is more because you've called me as a chief guest. I am obliged to all of you. I am also overwhelmed to see such a large crowd. Most of you must be participants. Now, holding of a competition of this magnitude and quality in itself is a great achievement, but holding it for 20 years is a gigantic achievement. And I congratulate all of you, the organizers, the Luthra family, each one of you, for hosting such a beautiful and nice event. Now, as far as late Mr. Luthra is KK Luthra is concerned, I did not have an opportunity of meeting him, but I've heard a lot about him. He was a self-made man, self-led lawyer. He had made a name in the criminal side practice. He appeared in large number of prestigious matters which were there at his time. And it is therefore befitting in his memory that this Moot competition is being held. And I'm proud that Ms. Siddharth, who is the brain behind, or at least the force behind this Moot, has taken active part in it. Now I want to give a little advice to the participants and budding lawyers. Of course, the general advice is work hard. You must work hard to achieve everything, but that's working hard is all right. Let me tell you from a few of my experiences. I will concentrate more on the trial aspect because most of you here in the Moot are concentrating on the appellate side or arguments which you are making pertain to the appellate side. But the fun and the pleasure is when you cross-examine a witness. The feeling of satisfaction that you get when you cross-examine a witness and you break a witness, there's nothing like it. Because you have to act at the moment, take a decision at the moment, and then prove that the witness is wrong. You must also know the law. So not only must you know the facts, but you must also know the law. If you want to succeed, know the law, know facts, and of course know your judge. I'm sorry. Because I'll tell you why you must know the judge. Judges have a tendency. Some judges may be landlord-oriented. Some judges may like to dispense justice favoring the tenant. So if you have a tenant's case, you should not go before a judge who has who is known for favoring the, not that is biased, but the views, everybody can have a view. So that is the first part that I'm telling you. Now let me tell you two or three things. There was a case in my early days of practice. I was defending a teacher. His case was when I went to see the principal, he thrashed me, he beat me up, he had given me a beating, and my face, there were injuries on the face. Now I was to cross-examine the principal because unfortunately for the other side, the principal volunteered to examine himself as a witness. So his defense was, the teacher came into my room, he pulled the door, and the door hit him on the face. That is how he got injured. So I said, let me go and have a look at the place of the incident. So what is important for a trial court lawyer is you must do local inspection of the scene of offense. If you do local inspection of the scene of offense, you can find out many ways in which you can defeat a witness or you can break a witness. And I found that the door opens on the other side and not this side. So I put a question to the witness. I said, according to you, he was injured when he pulled the door and the door hit him while he was pulling? He said, yes. Then I told him, your door doesn't open this side, it opens the other side, so it could never have hit him. He said, no, he lied. So I gave an application for local inspection. I took the judge and I demonstrated to the judge that the witness was lying. So that was possible because one has to marshal the facts. The facts need not necessarily be there in the brief. It can be also at the scene of offense. And ultimately I succeeded. The second incident which I want to tell you is about a murder case where the allegations against the accused, who was an eminent doctor, is that he killed his wife by slitting the throat, and the artery was cut with a knife, single blow. And the doctor came and deposed. He said, yes, this injury can cause the death. He looked at the knife and he said, this is a knife which can cause the death. Then I asked my client, did you kill your wife? He said, no, sir. Did you use this knife which the doctor has identified? He said, no. Then how did the police get hold of the knife? So they said, you have to produce a knife. So one knife was lying in my kitchen, I gave it to them. Now that was the material. So I read what is known as medical jurisprudence, forensic. And if you go into the details, you can identify the knife or the type of knife from the nature of injury. So when I looked at the injury, the post-mortem report, the injury had only, and there was a sharp edge and a blunt edge. So there are two edges in the injury. One was a blunt edge and the other was a sharp edge. So the knife should have been sharp on one side and blunt on the other side. So I took the doctor through his report and said, yes, is this correct? He said, yes. So I said, the knife has to be a knife which was blunt on one side and sharp on the other side. He said, yes. Then I showed him the knife. I said, this knife is sharp on both sides. So this could not have caused the injury. So the doctor had to admit that what I told earlier, that this is a knife, was wrong. The third incident I want to tell you is that there was another case where a person was murdered. There was a lot of blood that had come out. The case was he caught hold of the victim. The accused killed the person by catching hold of him and giving one stab blow. And the main artery was cut, and that's how he died. And then he was caught, the police caught him, and they produced blood-stained clothes. And then the question was that the blood matched with the blood of the deceased. So I looked at the clothes, and I saw only 4 or 5 dots of blood. So there is a technique in the art of cross-examination that you have to tie your witness so that when you tie him, the answer that he gives you is favorable to you. So I asked the doctor, this is if a person catches hold of this victim and gives this injury, the blood will come out? He said, yes. The blood will come out in a huge quantity, and the clothes which he is wearing will be drenched in blood? He said, yes. Then I showed him the clothes which the police alleged was worn by the alleged killer at the time of the incident. I said, there are only 4 dots. Therefore, this is not the shirt which the murderer wore. He said, yes. So that is how I established that the shirt was a planted one. Generally in Gujarat, from where I come, at the time of post-mortem, a bottle of blood is given to the police. So which is sometimes misused, they sprinkle the blood on the clothes. I don't know what is the position in Delhi. This is as far as facts are concerned. So unless you look at the facts and the law, then only you can cross-examine witness. Now, there are 2 or 3 other things that I want to tell you. One is, we had 145 proceedings, which are quasi-criminal in nature. They are known as chapter proceedings, breach of possession. So the executive magistrate, the cases are conducted by executive magistrates. In the days when I started practice, on every complaint you have to affix a stamp of 65 paise. Every complaint. Now, in the complaint which was filed in the executive magistrate court also, there was a stamp of 65 paise. But for a 145 complaint, the Stamp Act provided that it has to be 1 rupee. So I established that the document is insufficiently stamped, it can't be looked at. So sometimes you win cases only on technicalities. There's one more case where I want to tell you is this. I also did a few civil cases. There was a decree of about 20,000 rupees. The decree was sought to be executed from the defendant who happened to be a pujari. So when the bailiff went, the pujari said, all right, I'll give you 20,000 rupees, and he gave 1 paise, 2 paise coins in 2 bags, which were in those days, and he said, count them. The bailiff and the lawyer who went to execute the decree said, what can we do? How can we count so much of money? 20,000 rupees, 1 paisa is difficult to count. Then I said, there must be a way out. So at that time, there was an act called the Legal Tender of Coins Act. Now there's a Coinage Act, which said you cannot give more than 1 rupee in change, otherwise it's not a legal tender. So the Pujari wanted to defeat the execution by giving 1 paisa coin, so we said, no, only 1 rupee you can give, can't give more than that. So that is where, if you study law, you will come to know many things. So these are the few tips. So now I'll give you other tips. What is it to be a successful litigating lawyer? Everybody will tell you, work hard, read law, read your brief properly. But reading of the briefs has to be done before you draft a plaint or a complaint. Because many a times you lose a case because your plaint or the complaint is not properly drafted. The real work starts before you draft. So you'll have to look up the law, look up the facts. Unless it's a very urgent case where you don't have time, you will have to do that hard work if you want to succeed. Especially in election laws, which are very technical, election petitions are thrown out on technicalities. Then secondly, you must have good memory. Some people have good memory in their genes. To be a successful lawyer, you must have good memory. Because good memory not only saves time, but you know what is where, in which judgment, what is there. So good memory is essential for being a successful lawyer. There are many tricks or many methods by which you can improve your memory, even if you have a weak memory. So improving memory is also important. Then during arguments, you must put your best point first. If you keep your best point at the last, there are chances that you will not be successful. So these are the small tips that I want to give you. I wish all the participants best of luck, and may the best team win. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your experiences and interesting anecdotes with us. Now I request Honorable Justice Hima Kohli, Judge Supreme Court of India, and an alumna of Campus Law Center to kindly address the gathering and share her thoughts with us.
Good evening, Mr. SV Raju, Learned ASG, Professor Dr. Alka Chawla, Dr. Suman Yadav, Convener Moot Court Society, Dr. Meera Luthra, Mr. Geeta Luthra, Senior Advocate, Siddharth Luthra, Senior Advocate, members of the Luthra family, my teachers, Professor Sethi and Professor Khanna, academicians, administrative staff, and above all, my dear students. We've assembled here for the inauguration of the 20th KK Luthra Memorial Moot Court, which is to commence on 15th of March, that is, starts today up to the 17th. I'm given to understand that this year's edition will host 72 teams, out of which there are participants from UK, from Bangladesh, from Sri Lanka, Singapore, Zimbabwe, and Nepal. Indeed, it's a delight to know that the Moot Court that started at such a small level in the first initial stages has bloomed into such a big event that attracts footfalls from all over the world, particularly the SAARC countries. It's indeed a pleasure and a matter of delight that the entire Luthra family, who have dedicated this particular Moot Court to Mr. KK Luthra, have been working so very hard to keep the spirit going, and in memory of Mr. Luthra, doing all that they can to keep this Moot Court every bit of their effort. And kudos to all of you for that, the Luthra family. Welcome, students, to the best years of your life. I stand before you not just as a judge, I'm a reflection of all that I have imbibed as a student over these years, starting from my days in school to college and to the law college. It has been a span of 7 years that I had the good fortune of to be in this place, in the university, in different courses. And finally, of course, to the biggest institution, which is life itself. Your education is nothing but a dress rehearsal of a life that is yours to lead. What you imbibe from this institution will lay the foundation for your legal careers. Your teachers, your professors, your faculty are not just your information banks. They are your guides and your mentors. During my time at the CLC, what I remember most is the end of the class interactions that we had with our teachers than just the lectures that were delivered in each session. I have equally fond memories of my classmates and the time spent in this complex over glasses of tea sipped with samosas in the canteen. In fact, each time, after having left the university, one comes in this direction towards North Delhi for anything. The nostalgia sweeps in just as you turn the corner and remember how we trudged to the Patel Chest bus stop or the Morris Nagar bus stop to look for a bus to go home, or to walk down when there were peak heat from one end of the university campus to the other, maybe to the cafe in the university to grab a bite, or visit the library next doors as a student in my days of MA. So there are a lot of memories that most of us who have passed out of the Delhi University would remember and recall, happily so. So coming back to the subject of what are the skills you need to hone as a professional, my first suggestion would be think twice and speak once. As lawyers, your biggest ability should be to speak with confidence. People do have a perception that lawyers talk 19 to the dozen. This does not hold true for the good ones. Mature and experienced lawyers do not ramble on. They are expected to be good listeners, to be focused on legal points involved, precise in arguments, and clear in their analytical skills. So learn to sharpen these skills while you're here. Next, be aware of how you look, how you speak, how you stand, and what you radiate. Always remember that the first impression can be the last one. When I say look good, I certainly don't mean that the young ladies turn up in fashionable dresses or the young male students in their best attire. I only mean do not look shabby, do not look unkempt or scruffy. Outside these four walls, you represent the institution you belong to. Be its brand ambassadors. Never let down the institution. Another aspect which I must highlight is why and how you should show a positive outlook. Be honest and hardworking. Your positive approach will help in overcoming the difficulties you face, not just during study time, but beyond that when you embark on your careers. And believe me, it's a tough profession and can be quite unforgiving. There is no substitute for hard work. Long hours and intense pressure of work are inbuilt in this profession. But that 10%, beyond that 100%, is what you must try to achieve to stand out in the crowd. That ought to be your hallmark. Don't be overwhelmed. Be respectful, but not intimidated or diffident. At the end of the day, we are all just humans with emotions, anxieties, and a host of feelings. Your college will equip you with a degree and more than that, the real life skills. These moot courts are only a prelude to the real thing. Apart from education, try to imbibe soft skills like being efficient in interacting with people, drawing them out, being a patient listener, and understanding their problems. When you go out to intern in law offices, in chambers of senior lawyers, keep your eyes and ears open. Be a sponge and soak in as much as you can, and what you will retain will stay for a long time and help in dealing with all kinds of situations in the future. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you won't ask, nobody will tell you. Nobody expects you to know everything. You will learn as you go along. Just be willing to do so, and be it a clerk in the lawyer's chamber or a senior under whom you're expected to work, just be willing to understand and absorb the nuances of the profession. Till date, every day we all go to court and learn something new. There are nuances of matters. Till they come up before you, you don't know what the aspects might be involved. It's important to keep your mind open and uninfluenced by other things around you. When I say that for a lawyer, I'm also saying it for a judge. So when Mr. Raju just said, learned ASG, that if you go to the court and you watch the judge, well, you do watch the judge, but I hope we are not that transparent. Where will be the charm if we were so transparent? I hope that we can keep our eyes open, our ears open, and our mind open to whatever is being stated before us, without knowingly showing a bias. And that's what judging is all about. Don't put off a difficult task when you are struggling to get started. Don't think of the pain you will experience in the beginning. Focus on how good you will feel once you're engaged and involved. Nothing, and believe me, nothing can beat the satisfaction you get when you have cracked a problem on your own. So don't procrastinate. If a tutorial has to be written or a project completed, try not to push it to the back burner. Accept the challenge with both hands and get on with it. Imagine the high on completing the task, and that is what will give you that great feeling of joy. Next, a pedigree may be a good stepping stone, but it is not the only way to get where you need to go. The only way to go is to actually go for it, to show up, to knock on the door, and run through it. Those of you who do not have any family members, relatives, or friends in the legal profession, like I did not, do not feel disheartened or inadequate. I do not come from an illustrious legal background. No one in my family belonged to the legal profession. Unlike the situation today, when I had started my career in mid-80s, there were very few women in the profession. But it was not a deterrent. I didn't know, of course, that I will end up being a judge, much less a Chief Justice of a state high court, and then go on to be a judge of the Supreme Court. But hard work and perseverance does pay. As for the perception that it has to do with sheer luck, let me quote Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, who said, and I quote, "I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have." Success is not measured by your salary, by your title, or your degree, but the impact you have on others and the collective happiness of the people whose lives you touch. Learn to be dispassionate and objective when you discharge your duties, but at the same time, never be clinically cold or indifferent. Ultimately, you are dealing with individuals, with their problems, their jobs, their properties. their lives, and all of those who are attached to them. Doing financially well as a professional is imperative. It gives a great satisfaction to you, but that is not the be-all and end-all. If your heart is in the right place and you listen to your inner voice, however feeble it may be, you will never go wrong. I was told once that zindagi mein aap kitne khush hain is not important. Zindagi mein aap ki wajah se kitne log khush hain is critical. Finally, remember, you have a worth. You are all investments for the future. Maynard Webb, the chairman of Yahoo, had said, and I quote, "If you are willing to dream," I repeat, if you are willing to dream and then work hard and execute well, you can achieve more than you can imagine. At the end of the day, we are all humans bound to make mistakes. So will you, so did I. But don't lose heart. Remind yourself that success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. To conclude, at your age, you have all the luxury of time. So think carefully, implement skillfully, make mistakes, and learn from them. As a history student that I was, we were taught that history repeats itself. It certainly won't for you if you can carry the lessons learned from your earlier mistake. I conclude by reminding you that we, all of us, are very good lawyers for our mistakes and excellent judges for others' mistakes. Reverse the role and see the difference it makes. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, ma'am, for highlighting the qualities and skills that a law student must have to succeed in this legal profession. I would now request Mr. Gautam Khazanchi, eldest grandchild of late Mr. K.K. Luthra, to present the vote of thanks.
A very good evening to all of you. I must start by thanking our Chief Guest, Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli, Judge, Supreme Court of India, and our Guest of Honor, the learned Additional Solicitor General, Shri SV Raju, for not only gracing this inaugural function, but also sharing their life experiences. I think Justice Kohli put it very well and gave us such invaluable advice into how we should approach this profession. And Sir, of course, gave us his insights into how the intricacies of a trial court practice work. As Professor in charge, Professor Alka Chawla said, it is a matter of great pride for us to reach and complete 2 decades here. We had very humble beginnings in 2005. I think we started with only 14 or 16 teams. And today we had 155 participations, out of which 72 teams are here. I think it goes without saying that none of this would have been possible without the Campus Law Center, which has become an extended part of our family. It must be said then the Campus Law Center is not only the professor in charge, not only the teachers, but also the students, the volunteers, the conveners, and the support staff, which are all here today. There are some specific people who are here who support us, without whose patronage this Moot would not be possible. These are our friends and family. I must name them so that all of us can thank them together. Professor Rajiv Khanna, who initiated the Moot in 2005. Professor T.D. Sethi, who supported the Moot from the inception. Lawyers and friends of the family who are here every year. Rakesh Munjal, Senior Advocate. S.C. Nanda, Advocate. Krishna Kumar, Advocate. Manish Goel, Advocate. Ashok Sikka, Advocate. Pradeep Behel, who supports us by providing software, the DLT software to the winners. Dinesh Dureja, who supports us by providing books. Swami Divya Chetanandana. Atul and Rubina Batra, friends of the family, Shri Atul Sharma, managing partner of Link Legal, who has been a mentor to Mr. Siddharth Luthra and Ms. Keti Goswami, we thank you all. Lastly, I think I must thank a lot of my colleagues at the bar. This Moot is a huge success due to them, because around 100 of them, including eminent senior counsel, take out time over the weekend to come support us and judge the Moot. We are really grateful for you to take out this time every year. Without you, this would not be possible. And lastly, to the participants, I thank you for joining us here today. I hope you have an extremely enjoyable and challenging experience. I wish you all the best, and may the best team win. Thank you.
I now request all of you to kindly rise for National Anthem. Kindly join us for high tea.